come with us and turn this into this.
Hey everybody, welcome back to our channel, Wild Oasis Plants. Figured I'd show you how to build a little crevice garden. So everybody on YouTube can have a little insight. I am no expert at building these things. I've been only building them for 4 or 5 years, kind of. But yeah, today's video we were gonna travel up to the mountains and hit up our little quarry where we have a secret little spot where we can grab some blast rock, and then we'll travel back. I'll show you what I'm doing right now, sorting rocks, picking them out based on size, and not only like the big size, but like the thinness of them, and then designing. So the plan here is to I wanna have this all like Chilean, South American plants. And I used to have like a bunch of like shade stuff here, but it didn't really do well because it was pretty hot. And because this overhang here exists, I'm hoping that it's going to be a little drier in the wintertime. And drier is key for some plants that are like zone 9 or high mountain that can't take wet and a little bit of cold or prolonged wet during the winter times that we get here in Comox. So yeah, the plan is that I'm gonna create an angled crevice garden. The rock will have I'll grab a couple and I'll show you. The rock will be all placed down like that, kind of, and obviously on a larger scale, and I'll create an artistic design over it, and then you plant the plants through it, which is kind of a newer way of gardening for me, and I'd like to share it with you because it's pretty cool. So yeah, tune along and we will show you what we do. What a spot in the Comox Valley we live at. This is we're pretty fortunate. Maybe I could actually take some time right now and just discuss some of these crevice gardening techniques. So you want to keep your rocks tight together. That's a big thing. You know, they say 1-inch gaps. There's a really cool book out written by Kenton Seth and Paul Spriggs, and those are a couple of rock gardening all-stars, and they go through a bunch of the really good ways to build a rock crevice garden. And 1-inch gaps, they say, are recommended, if not tighter. You can build them with different substrates of soil below. So depending on what climate zone you're in, if you are super wet rainfall winters or super dry but cold, you know, there's different ways to build them. So we tend to use like pure sand in ours up here, and you can mix in a little bit of like topsoil. I'd stay away from peat, maybe unless you kind of got like some specific areas inside the little crevicey area, like if you had like a little meadow or something like that in it, because you know you are building these small structures that kind of supposed to resemble mountains. And yeah, so anyway, I use sand to top dress, and probably the top 4 inches of the crevice, and then below that, the base of where you put your rocks, those can all be like normal native soil, and so for us it's kind of like a sandy loam. And then that means like when your plant roots dive down super deep past the narrow rock crevices, like the 1-inch gaps that I was talking about, then it provides nutrients and then some moisture for the plants as well. So And I mean, there's so many different ways to build these crevice gardens. People use like concrete, like old concrete, like so they call that urbanite. There's a really cool one down in Raleigh at Plant Delights Nursery, and they got this massive urbanite crevice garden that was built like, I don't know, maybe a decade ago or something. And then people use all sorts of different types of rocks. You can use tufa, which we have a big tufa crevice garden at our place, and I'll give you a little tour of that later on in the video. So yeah, anyway, just get creative, have fun with it. There's no way to do anything wrong. You can build a crevice garden whatever way you want to, and it's an easy way to plant little plants instead of digging giant bamboos up like we do and hurting your back. You only got to hurt your back one time, and that's building the crevice garden. Or you hire somebody with a stronger back to build your crevice garden if you can afford it. But yeah, just get creative, have fun. Don't worry about what it looks like. Here at our super cool rock spot, they use all this blast rock for building up the roads and stuff, so I don't know, I don't think that they care if we take the rock, but it's probably another reason why I'm not telling everybody where this spot is. So Natalie just setting up the DJI. What do you think so far, hon? Beautiful day?
It's way better now that the rocks aren't all frozen.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, we were here this morning, right, doing our first load, and all these little rocks were like frozen in. It was hilarious. It wasn't working good, but yeah, so like some of these are just great. This one here, you know, if you can see, it's maybe a little too thick, but anyway, you want these long, narrow type rocks for building these crevice gardens. So that was a good one. So I think the next time we're back, we'll have to go up over in that top part over there, because we don't just want the round rocks, right? We're looking for narrow ones, and it is hard to find. This isn't just like buying rock when you get them in a pallet when you're going to build crevice gardens. You know, this blast rock here, a lot of it's round, but it's cool because it's local. So yeah, let's get going.
Perfect.
Well, the back of the trucks gets filled up with all these super big, heavy rocks, and because it's like a basalt, I believe, they are more dense, so they are stinking heavy. So anyway, what we'll do is we'll roll this back so everybody can have a look at how cool these rocks are. So yeah, some of these have some really great quartz on them, like that. As you can see, some of them are super thin, so this rock here is going to be great to put vertically up and down, and yeah. So what I like to do when building these crevice gardens is I like to organize all the rocks, and then I take ones like this, you know, they're kind of small, they're really good for like fitting in between the cracks, and then I'll put them on the ground. Sometimes I'll put them like that, you know, whatever, like that, doesn't really matter too much, but then you kind of got an idea of like the character of the stone. I mean, and this goes to building like ponds even. Like when you're building ponds, you want to organize all the rock as well so you know which one to grab. So yeah, this little quarry that we're using has some awesome quartz, and I figure these rocks would be just super cool to put in between the cracks. So yeah, maybe what I'll do here, I'll show you what I've built for a crevice garden already here.
Stop right there. You have work to do. This crevice garden won't build itself. And I'm only here for moral support because those rocks are just too heavy for me. So come with me and I will show you his first crevice garden that he built. All right. So here's a nice view from down here. And we're still protected from the winter. But this year we've only had minus 3.4. So I don't think we really needed to protect. Better safe than sorry. But here's the crevice garden, the first one that he built. Different rocks. You can see how tight and close everything is. And he just finds little planting pockets and plants everything that he can. Some things make it, some things don't. But he's done a really good job at getting all these rocks nice and tight together. If I remember correctly, he bare roots everything. I wish I could tell you all the names, but I am not good with that. Isn't this so cute? And some stuff is already flowering. And we have a lot of little daphnes that we like to plant in here. And we've done some micro drip irrigation. Goes off maybe a couple times a week. So there's 2 that he's done. So this side is a lot more shadier than the front. And he's done some stepping area so you can walk out on it. And go and check out some of these plants. This Daphne actually defoliated this year, Rosettii, but it's coming back, so that's good. Full sun rock garden, or I guess I should say crevice garden.
Well, I seem to have gotten carried away. This is day 2 of building this crevice garden. I did 2 loads yesterday in the truck. Just did another one here this morning. Just unloading it right now. And I forgot to film. So, you know, this is a common thing of me. I get all excited and then I go ahead with the project and then I forget to show everybody what I've started. So anyway, we're gonna walk over to to what I've created and share with you how it's coming along. I think it's coming along really, really, really awesome. Sorry about the helicopter noise. So what I got going on here is a crevice garden. And for those that don't know, I have explained it already. There's these small little cracks, as you can see, you know, and these here are great planting areas. So you want drama. That's one of the biggest things that a good friend of mine in Victoria taught me, Janice, and Spriggs and those crazy rock garden artists. They all talk about that, especially in the book. And drama just means like you want like height and some wow factor. So I've grabbed like really cool colored rocks. Like there's a bunch of veining of like quartz and other minerals that I have no idea about. Maybe Zach, you could drop a comment because you're the rock dude. Anyway, so yeah, I'll show you what I built. Looks really good. Yeah, so some of these veins through here are gonna really give these boulders some character. And then there's awesome little like planting areas. Like in here, I plan on doing like a little peat bog meadow because there's this lobelia that I've been growing from South America that likes like a wet kind of area. And then this is the drama that I'm talking about, right? So if you can look, you know, the rocks all tie in. You know, there's a bit of a planting pocket here. There's cracks everywhere. So what I'll do is like I'll take like a plant and I'll bare root it, and then I'll dangle the roots down deep, and then I'll backfill it. And what I'm going to use is a mix of like this kind of sand rocks here, and then a silica grit. So I'm going to experiment with this because I know a lot of these South American plants literally thrive on like just sun, and that's about it. So they don't really need nutrients, minerals maybe. I could be wrong, but love this right here. This is, I'm tying this in, so as you can see, you know, you come up here with the layer. You know, you want to think about like the layers of sand and rock where they're going to be. So this is going to be probably a layer in through here, and then it'll be some drama up here, and then I'm going to continue on this height here all the way along for a bit, and either come up higher again and then drop down. We'll just kind of see what the rocks do and how they tell me what to do. So I mean, that's just kind of it. You grab a rock, you look and you think, this is a sweet spot, you know, and then you throw it down. Sometimes you shift it, and then you want to plan your other rock so it's, I don't know, a little bit of a uniform depth to it, right? Like you got these two over here, these cracks that are lining up here. Anyway, so that's just a quick overview of what I've been doing. This has taken me, I don't know, a good few hours, and I will show you the finished product when it is done. Okay, pro tip. Well, not really pro, but a tip. So these big rocks right here like to move if you don't anchor them in. And anchoring them in is something that you would just basically dig a hole, kind of like that. And what I like to do is I like to dig out near the edges of here for now, so that way your rock, when it places in there, it goes nice and tight, and I guess maybe it kind of wedges. So what I want is to I'll grab a small rock just for demo. So say if this was your rock right here, right? This is a small little rock. you would put your rock like that. The rock would sit underneath the soil a bit. So as all the compression from the sand and rocks and stuff that's layered upon this, when it pushes, it doesn't push the rock out this way towards your path. So all these rocks in the front I've anchored in, and that is super important because, you know, on bigger features, especially like some of these features that are like, you know, 60 feet by 60 feet, or if they're really tall, they end up pushing out and then flattening over time. So anchoring in is a very vital step into ensuring that your feature stays put. So yeah, as you can see, right, you put all your rocks in a direction that looks like nature has created this like shifting plates and tectonic movements and striations and whatever other rock terms are out there. I don't know, but yeah, a lot of these guys do this with a compass. So they'll face it, you know, if that's northeast, they'll pick like, you know, 300 degrees or something, and they'll put all their rocks to 300 degrees. I just wing it. So, but yeah, anchoring in, really important. You know, you also want to make sure that none of these rocks, like this big cool one here, is going to fall forward with like a little kid or something if he decides to sit on the end of it, and if you're having an open garden. That's anchoring in rocks. Well, we got end of day 2. It went well. My back hurts, but no point in complaining because there's nobody listening to me. So yeah, this thing's turning out absolutely awesome. As you can see, it's been 4 truckloads of rock. I just got a half ton, but yeah, it's turned out really nice. And I decided to put a little bit over here just to tie in everything. So yeah, this will be a really great feature in front of the greenhouse. So anyway, give you a better look. Where the wild things grow. Of course, it's not done yet. I need to backfill all the cracks, wash it down, do it again. You want the sand and the gravel, whatever you're using in between, to have some time to settle. So yeah, some of these rocks are really cool. I gotta go tie in this little spot here. I'm gonna end it about here on like a little bit of a spine. And then all this soil here will be taken out. I'm gonna move it over next to Nabe Shamana, this grove. That table is gonna move to the front of the greenhouse. And then there'll be a pathway that kind of extends through here. Get rid of all this. Give Nabe Shamana this bamboo, ultra rare, ultra amazing. Give it some chance to grow. So yeah, as you can see, there's lots of height, and the rocks are like super tight. Working on day 3 here. I've completely finished the rocking. Quickly having a beer, celebration beer. So now's the time to fill in the cracks with like your media that you decide to use. Some people use like a mix of like sand and dirt. I like to use like pretty much just sand. So that's for like the drainage that we have here, you know, that we need here. Yeah, so anyway, I'll give you a little showcase of what we did and what I'm mixing. And I've washed up all the rocks. I moved that dirt sand pile that I had here. And then what I'm gonna do is fill all these cracks up with the media that I think is gonna be the best for drainage. So I got my handy dandy mixer out and I'm using silica sand and cart chip path. So it should be really good. Should have like crazy amount of drainage. So this is the normal cart chip. It packs down really good. But if you take it here, you know, it ends up being a little looser. So that's the plan. And you take your time, you jam it in between these cracks and with a small shovel, and then wash it in. I'll show you how it's done. So use your little shovel. And just repeat that process. The trick is to actually take your time, get the levels right, so it looks like you have rocks and it's just not one big giant sand mound. And then wash it in nice. And the washing it in compacts it so that you don't have any air gaps. And then it locks in the rocks. Well, I finally finished. Just as the rains start. Turned out really good. So anyway, I've already spoken quite a bit about these crevice gardens, and like I said, I'm not an expert, so the best thing to do is just get out there and do it, experience it, and make a little bit of art in your yard. That's all what it's about. The more you do it, the better you'll get. And then, you know, there's no way to do a bad crevice garden. There's tons of ways to build rock gardens. And just get out there and have fun. Anyway, thanks for watching.